this live stream. My name is Alex. I handle BD at MetaMask, and with me today I have Kai from Polymarket. Good to have you here.
Thank you,
Alex. And of course, we are here to celebrate yesterday's launch of MetaMask Prediction Markets, powered by Polymarket. And in the next 30 minutes, we will tell you all about what's going on with this new product launch, with this collaboration, what the product would look like. And we will also go into just prediction markets overall, how things have been evolving and where things are heading. And it's not all the time that you have somebody directly from Polymarket to give you this information. You've probably heard a lot about Polymarket in the past, but just great to have a sparring partner here who can tell us everything that's going on the inside today. So with that, Kai, please let us know who you are and tell us a little bit about what we're talking about today.
Yes, of course. First of all, I have to say I'm genuinely excited to be here today. I've been a MetaMask user myself for many years, and kind of seeing this partnership come to fruition was very exciting to me personally. To be able to announce today that we're working directly with prediction markets on MetaMask is really exciting to me, and somewhat of a full circle moment, actually. Although it's partnership, what really strikes out to me is that MetaMask and Polymarket really share the same DNA. We both deeply and fundamentally believe in self-custody. And this really allowed us to partner together on this because the principles were fundamentally aligned from the beginning. Really, we want the users to own the actual asset and be full custodian of the individual assets. So this is really a powerful combination for us to partner with such a strong player as MetaMask. I think that if you think about prediction markets overall, it's a space that's been absolutely fascinating to me. I think particular prediction markets on crypto, if you think about the early days of Augur, we really come a long way with Polymarket kind of spearheading, being the next generation of prediction markets. We at Polymarket have built the world's most liquid prediction markets infrastructure, entirely on chain and entirely transparent. Every single trade is cryptographically verified, and we give people the opportunity to audit every single thing that we do. We don't have black boxes. We have no hidden algorithms. We truly believe in the power of decentralization. And that's where we're super excited to partner with MetaMask, such another player in the space that really cares about decentralization and self-custody.
Yeah, well put. We've mentioned also that we started talking together in spring this year. We reached out to you guys and we hopped on a call and said, hey, wouldn't it be amazing if prediction markets in the future would live straight within your wallet, where your funds are, one click away. You go and log into the app and you're able to participate on real life events and on this cool new development that we've been seeing blossom in the last call it 18 months in particular. And so over the spring and summer we got together and we figured out how to do it, and then today here we are and we're live. So yeah, it's just really from the idea and the first handshake, so to speak, to go live in a little bit more than half a year. And we wanted to, before everything else, just call out all the people that were involved in this motion, because obviously we're here kind of talking about this now, but just a huge team involved in figuring this out. Kai, do you want to mention a couple of names from your side who was driving this?
Of course, yeah. Alex and I were able to talk today, but I think the technical team that finished this project really did a tremendous job here. From our end, it was John Amanici and Mike Shreve who led the development on our end, and on MetaMask side, it was Omna and Luis who really pushed this effort through. It was a really, really friendly and collaborative environment that we had together there. Kind of also the infrastructure, both being fully on chain, made this somewhat easier. We could agree on token standards early on. We had a lot of infrastructure to fall back on. So, but still want to give a shout out to the technical team that actually drove this implementation. I think they've done a phenomenal job here.
Yeah, 100%. And Kai, why prediction markets in wallets and through distribution partners? You are a huge brand. You've managed to attract pretty much the entire attention of the news industry, so to speak. Why are wallets important for you?
Yeah, we want to give people actual custody over the tokens, as well as also the USDC funds that they need to participate on Polymarket. We do believe that everyone should have the ability to express their opinions, put their money where their beliefs are, but we're also going to give people the opportunity to do this in a somewhat anonymous fashion. And I think that's where wallets really come into play, is that if you give people the opportunity to express their opinion in an anonymous way, you actually see how they truly feel about things. And I think that's such a powerful combination of freedom of expression on chain. And this is really at the core of Polymarket, is that we're fully built on chain. We've been really focused on giving people full custody of their funds, but also preserving their anonymity to a degree. By this, I mean that we want to give people the ability to express their true belief unconstrained of any environment that they're in. And this is truly what the power of on-chain prediction markets are.
100%. And then, from our side, we, of course, we have these 30 million or so monthly active users, and they come to MetaMask to transact for connectivity with dApps. But they've been asking for way more than this. And we've done a really good job in the last 6 months in particular, just shipping products that are very core to this cycle. It really gives me goosebumps to kind of see a product that everybody's craving out there, that is just immensely sticky, that lets people in any age, any geo, or almost any geo, we'll get to that in a second, just participate in sort of what they know is happening in the world, and to basically have a financial impact from that knowledge. It's an exciting place. It's a really cool narrative, I feel like, that we're having in crypto right now, in terms of just really like an everyday use case, and excited to do that together with you. Now, please, is something you wanted to add, or?
No, I think you brought up like geographical span. I think that what Polymarket does incredibly well is to give everyone the opportunity to participate, given some regulatory restrictions, but it's really giving everybody the ability to participate. We do cover large areas. We have almost a market on everything. Anything that you want to essentially express your belief on, we want to provide the infrastructure. And this partnership with MetaMask, we're now in even more hands. We have now a really awesome mobile experience through MetaMask. I think it's really a step change for us, and that's why we got so excited early on in the conversations. It's just get even more people's hands and give people the opportunity to express their beliefs.
Yeah. So with that, I think the audience is excited to see what the integration of Polymarket and MetaMask actually looks like. You are invited to pick up your phone and update the MetaMask mobile app, or install it if you haven't yet. And what you will see is, I'll take you by the hand and show you through this. So the first thing that you would notice when you open the MetaMask app is that we have a new section or tab here in the middle called Predictions. When you go into this, you will be able to explore all the different kinds of prediction markets that we have, that we've pulled in. It's a curated overview. So you will see a trending section. So that's going to be, where's Bitcoin at the end of the year? What's the Fed rate decision? Things of that nature. We have all new markets. And then there's these sort of areas which are just super hot in general for prediction markets, which are sports, crypto, and politics. So an overview of a number of those that you can browse and pick. For those who aren't too familiar yet with prediction markets, you can bet on yes or no, so it's binary, whether you think the statement will come true or won't come true. You can bet in either way. That allows you to just explore all these different markets, and wherever you feel you have a good insight, and you can choose and bet your funds on this. Now, what makes Polymarket in MetaMask really cool is that you can fund your wallet, or the subsection of the wallet, with any EVM token that you hold within MetaMask, and it's a sort of a single tap experience of loading these funds into the experience like you see here. So you would really just, in a matter of a couple of seconds, use whatever tokens you have, and you'll be able to trade. So you would then, in this case, select a single market. What price will Bitcoin hit in 2025? And choose the amount that you would like to invest or to bet. And then in this case, you would go along and say, yes, it will be above 95,000. And then your position will show up in the overview of predictions. And you can check this prediction and follow along as it goes. And again, you are able to pull out at any time, so you're not bound to wait until the end of until the prediction has concluded, so to speak. But the likelihood changes over time, and whenever you feel you would like to, you can essentially conclude the bet and cash out, and then those funds will be redeposited to your wallet. So just a really smooth experience. I encourage everybody to try it out for yourself. We want to sort of make sure that just where users are, no matter if it's on your way to work, traveling, on the go, you're able to participate in these kinds of markets, and you're able to trade. What's also cool, why sort of Polymarket within MetaMask specifically makes so much sense, is you will also earn rewards points, MetaMask rewards points from every trade. So it's 2 points for every $1 that you bet. And of course, you own all your assets. It's completely self-custody. As everything else with MetaMask, you're always in control of your own funds. Now, we also want to mention there is a fee attached to it of 4% to make predictions. So you pay a transaction fee to MetaMask and Polymarket basically upon funding your wallet, but there's no fees that are taken on deposits, on cashing out, or on withdrawing. So yeah, again, try it out, update your MetaMask app, and give it a try. It works really nicely. So I'll stop sharing my screen here. I wanted to ask you, Kai, can you explain a little bit sort of what the next thing for Polymarket and prediction markets will look like in the future? So this is live, this is V1. Where does it go from here?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question. Like if we just take a step back of where we are, is that in the last year or so, we're really seeing prediction markets becoming the information infrastructure that really just reflect reality to help us understand it faster and more accurately. I think that the app that you just showed allows also people to look at what's happening in the world in a real-time fashion, in a truly priced manner. It really allows us to accurately represent the reality. One of the key points I wanted to hone in on is that it's information aggregation at the internet speed. We've seen traditional media news cycle being more bound to a slower pace. The prediction markets are really breaking up and turning it into a true internet speed of information. Markets process information continuously. There's no polling, there's no quarterly reports, there's no authority that you're bound to get your information. Every participant brings unique knowledge to this. Prediction markets are crowdsourced intelligence. And this is what really excites me every single day, is to look at thousands of markets in the morning, read it like the news, and to understand what's happening in the world. I think that also beyond prediction markets as a news source, which I think we are still in the early innings of, is that it has really a ton of practical applications. We really see there is a real-time policy sentiment tracking in terms of how do people feel about certain political outcomes. Mm-hmm. We had traditionally election forecasting that captured, a very slow-moving information feed of what's happening in the world. But I think prediction markets, the way I always think about it, it's an internet-paced 360 view of the world that really allows you to understand what happens globally at any given point in time. I think that beyond politics, we also have a ton of markets around business and finance, sports and culture. And I think that if you think about the evolution of prediction markets, is that they are becoming its own financial instrument. The existing financial instruments and infrastructure have been limiting participants and have been limiting the ability for people to express their actual beliefs. we're breaking these chains of limitations in terms of ability to express yourself by giving markets on everything. And I think that's really where we are in the cycle, is to really expand the market coverage that we offer on Polymarket to give people access to everything. So if you think about what's next for Polymarket or where this is going, is that I still think we are in the early innings of a fundamental transformation of information. And what I really love about this transformation in particular is that it's truly crowdsourced. And I think that's the true combination that I'm really excited about, is that we want to have markets on everything you come up with, offer the deepest liquidity on all the questions you're interested in, and give everybody the ability to voice their opinion and to put their money where their mouth is.
And is it possible for me or any of our listeners here to come up with their own markets on Polymarket and essentially say, I want to put this one up? How do new markets come to be?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think that at the moment we have a really incredible team that scours all information sources 24 hours a day to find what's going on. There's a never-ending X feed that I see people scroll to understand what's happening in the world. I think that one of the key product unlocks for us in the future is going to give this tooling out to the world and allow folks to create their own market. There's a long list of challenges around, allowing everyone to create their own market. It starts with how to actually structure a market. One of the key learnings for me after joining Polymarket was actually to understand that creating a market is an art. There's a science to it, but also an art. How do you create a good, fun, interesting market? And we have an absolute incredible internal team that creates these markets, but it's based on their decision of when to create a market. The setup for us to create a market is limited in the ability of what information do they consume. And we have a ton of internal tools to help those folks. I think down the road, what I'm really excited about is to really give this tooling to the broader community and allow them to create markets. But there are a lot of really interesting challenges around what makes a good market. Because just creating a market is one component to it. You also need to be able to quote on the market to have deep liquidity. And I think that design question is a really interesting product feature we have to come up with to make this easy and intuitive, because it needs to be a great user experience to create a market. What we want to steer away from is for people to create a market and then don't have the fun experience of seeing it move in real time and being very liquid. So that product design question is something we're thinking deep and hard about, of how to make this as easy of an experience as trading. So creating a market should be as easy as trading, but it's a really hard design and product question that we're working on.
And when you say, a market has deep liquidity, what that really means is that you have basically a minimum amount or a threshold of people investing their funds into it, so that it doesn't sort of go up 80% and down 80% with these bets, right? Like, what is a minimum, or the amount of liquidity per market that you would feel usually comfortable with, where you say this has to be there at least for it to be good?
Yeah, I roughly categorize markets in two categories. We do have insanely deep liquidity markets that offer for a very fast and smooth trading experience. But I also really love markets that actually are just price discovery markets that don't necessarily have the deepest liquidity. You can think about roughly a few $1,000s. You need to be able to have a market to have price discovery. But for the smoothest trading experience, you'd certainly want more than thousands of dollars for folks to be able to have a smooth trading experience. So it kind of depends on what you're looking for. In terms of the intraday information price discovery market, you actually don't need that much money, but it still makes for a really interesting information discovery. But if you want the most trading experience, you want to have deep liquidity. The way I think about liquidity, it's almost the ability to support price movements. If someone has a strong opinion and wants to express them with a large position, there needs to be deep liquidity. And we want to be able to have the deepest liquidity. And we have a various set of instruments we have internally to help liquidity. We have our rewards program that people are able to participate in, where we incentivize liquidity on these order books. And just one comment around this, I think where we differentiate ourselves from traditional sports books or prediction market offerings is that is truly peer-to-peer. We need someone else to actually offer the liquidity for people to participate. And I think we've been investing heavily in our market making infrastructure that we have these deep liquidity.
Got it. And sort of on the same thought, and this is almost like a philosophical idea, I guess, is, you were mentioning in the beginning that prediction markets, they're starting to become this really important force in news and information.
Yep.
I think the first time I learned about Polymarket in particular was when Trump was during the election period, right? And essentially, on Polymarket, it was clear who the winner was of the election before it was clear officially, and sort of that blew everybody's mind to be like, whoa, this crowd intelligence of people sort of putting funds on what they believe is right is a very good depiction of like reality, and is better than what it's more accurate sometimes than what we get in the news. It reminded me a little bit of when Twitter or X first appeared, right? You had this channel that was broadcasting in real time, and it was becoming this new factor in the news and media landscape. Now, like, the latest news I saw was like CNN, for example, is now incorporating prediction markets and stuff. But like, talk to me about how the news and media landscape and this economy is perceiving you, and how you are dealing with sort of that intersection with the news and with the information networks that exist.
Yeah, I think it's a great question. One of my favorite experiences was leading up to the 2024 elections is to play this game with my girlfriend. Is every month I ask her is who does she think is going to win the election? I would always refer to Polymarket. She would always refer to polling that you saw on the news media. We played this game every single month. We ask each other who is going to win. And Polymarket was right, and whatever she was reading did not turn out to be the correct answer. I think that Polymarket is in the long term going to be replacing traditional media in the sense that it is a faster newsfeed. It does not require authority, but I don't think it's going to fully replace it. I think it's going to be an augmentation layer to traditional media. I think that the high quality journalism is a really, really powerful tool that should be augmented with the power of markets. So I don't see it as a fully replacement. I see it as an augmentation. You can almost think about it as Polymarket as a tool for journalists to use to be able to write incredibly deep dives. But I think journalism should change. I think journalism should actually take a closer look at who is taking these positions, who actually tends to be right for elections over time. And that's where it comes back to what I said in the beginning, is how a transparent blockchain-powered technology allows you actually to look participants and who tends to be right on certain topics. So I think this augmentation layer to traditional media is a really powerful combination that we really want to lean into the future. I think you see other players in the space partner with large institutions, and this is something we're really excited about to partner with players in the future. But to me, the point I'm trying to make here is that I think traditional media needs to wake up to there is a real-time data feed. And I think traditional media needs to partner with us to essentially have a new tool in their repertoire to write world-class stories, because I really think highly of journalists. And I think that we are able to give them just a new tool in their repertoire.
Yeah. Excited how that's going to evolve in 2026, but I have little doubt that we will see a lot more news in that space about collaborations between media and information and Polymarket and others. I want to bring it back to everybody here who is a trader, and people will now have this great new tool right in their wallet. And there are strategies that you can use in order to get good returns from Polymarket, right? And I've been reading myself into this a little bit, and I saw there are different archetypes, sort of archetypical strategies that people use. For example, you would have those who look at relatively certain outcomes, like, for example, the Fed rate increase. The market seems to believe overwhelmingly by now there's a 89 or 90% chance of like a 25% basis point cut. So there's those who just put a lot of capital on these like sort of sure bets and make a small return, but a relatively certain one. And then probably there's others who go the other route and basically make smaller bets on things that are very improbable but would have a large return. Can you, like, what kind of trading strategies, like high level, do you see people use there?
Yeah, I would first fundamentally differentiate between the people that bet on Polymarket or place a trade on Polymarket to express their belief because they know something. I think that the PayPal election is such a fascinating story where a really long shot candidate actually won the PayPal election. And I think we had participants, they saw the opportunity and they really dove in with a lot of capital, and a candidate, I think, was trending, around 1%, actually ended up winning it. And I think that's one interesting behavior, is to really lean into these long shots. Certainly, they tend not to win, but if they win, I think, a really, really interesting experience. On these other folks that trade more algorithmically, I think it's more akin to traditional finance, in the sense that there are market making strategies. You can leverage a lot of interesting tools that are out there in the space to traditionally market make these markets. But I think that the most fun experience is actually just to trade on an app, on ours or on MetaMask app, and just to express your own beliefs. And I would say the long shot candidates are always the most interesting, but there is something to be said around kind of like the safe bet, in terms of, very likely something is trending at 99, 98 cents, and just leaning into these sure bets. But I think everyone, this is not advice in terms of a strategy. I think it just speaks to different behavior. And I think both of them are great.
Yeah, and it goes without saying, none of that is sort of financial advice, but just interested to see how people are using Polymarket from a trading perspective, right? Okay, fantastic. So we are coming up at time. We have 2 more minutes, and what we love to do towards the end, if possible, is see whether we could answer, or Kai can answer, 1 or 2 questions that have come up in the chat. So just seeing here with our colleagues on the back end, whether we can put something here in the chat to at least give 1 or 2 of our listeners a voice today. Okay, so the news I'm getting back right now is no specific questions yet, but we will monitor if anything comes up. Well, in any case, I'm really excited, Kai, that you came on today. Like I said, it's not every day that you actually get to speak with somebody right at Polymarket, and just really appreciating your insights and sort of what you could tell us both about how things are panning out at the moment and in the future. We are incredibly excited to work with you. We think we've really launched a fantastic new product yesterday that our users will love, that make it easy for people to either express their opinion in terms of what they think is happening in the world, or to use it as a trade. And we encourage everybody to try it out. Thanks for tuning in today. Thanks a bunch, Kai, for coming here and joining us. We really appreciate it. Have a fantastic start into your weekend, everybody, and we will see you very